In this session, we shall discuss the ceremonies in Scrum. We shall narrow down to what these ceremonies are and how they are applied for continuous team improvement and high-quality delivery. At the end of this session, you should be able to relate with the Scrum ceremonies and the other meetings embraced in Scrum. You should be able to also state the differences in these ceremonies and the values each ceremony and other meetings bring. Please note that Scrum ceremonies could be used interchangeably with Scrum events and sometimes Scrum rituals. This shows the degree to which the Scrum ceremonies are vital, important, and sacrosanct to Scrum deliveries. Scrum has 4 formal events, also known as ceremonies, that help facilitate the empirical process and ensure the Scrum team stays aligned and on track. The 4 Scrum ceremonies are: 1. Sprint planning. Sprint planning is a key event in the Scrum framework that marks the beginning of a new sprint. It is a collaborative effort between the entire Scrum team, which includes the product owner, the development team, and the Scrum Master. The purpose of sprint planning is to set the sprint goal and create a plan for achieving it. During the sprint planning meeting, the product owner presents the items in the product backlog to the development team. The team then works together to decide which items they can complete during the upcoming sprint. We shall, for the purpose of understanding, divide the sprint planning into 2 parts. Part 1. During the meeting, the product owner presents the items from the product backlog to the development team. They discuss the items and clarify any requirements or questions that the development team may have. The team then decides on the sprint goal based on the items in the product backlog and their capacity for the sprint. Part 2. The development team then creates a plan for achieving the sprint goal. They break down the selected items into smaller tasks and estimate the time and effort required for each task. The team also discusses how they will work together to complete the tasks and how they will communicate with each other throughout the sprint. At the end of sprint planning, the development team should have a clear understanding of the sprint goal, a plan for achieving it, and a detailed list of tasks to be completed during the sprint. The sprint backlog is created as a result of the planning meeting, which is a list of tasks to be completed during the sprint. Sprint planning is an important event in the Scrum framework, as it sets the foundation for the upcoming sprint and helps the team stay focused and aligned on their goals. 2. Daily Scrum. The Daily Scrum is a key meeting in the Scrum framework that helps the team synchronize their work and progress towards the sprint goal. It's also known as the Daily Stand-Up. The Daily Scrum is a short, time-boxed meeting of no more than 15 minutes, held every day during the sprint. The purpose of this meeting is for the development team to share progress updates, identify any obstacles or impediments that may be hindering their progress, and plan their work for the next 24 hours. During the meeting, each team member answers 3 questions. A. What did I do yesterday? B. What am I going to do today? C. Are there any obstacles or impediments in my way? By answering these questions, team members are able to share their progress and plan their work for the day ahead. The Daily Scrum also helps the team identify any issues or impediments that may be hindering their progress and allows them to work together to find solutions. The Daily Scrum is typically held at the same time and place each day, and all team members are expected to attend. In a co-location work model, it's important that team members stand up during the meeting to keep it short and focused. Overall, the Daily Scrum is an essential meeting in the Scrum framework that helps the development team stay focused, identify issues early, and work together to achieve their sprint goal. 3. Sprint Review. Sprint Review is an important event in the Scrum framework that takes place at the end of each sprint. It is an opportunity for the Scrum team to showcase their work to stakeholders, including the product owner, the Scrum Master, and other members of the organization. During the sprint review, the development team presents the work they have completed during the sprint to the stakeholders. This includes a demonstration of the working product increment, as well as any other work completed, such as documentation or tests. The stakeholders can then provide feedback on the product and the progress made during the sprint. The sprint review is also an opportunity for the product owner to review the product backlog and make any necessary changes based on the feedback received during the sprint review. The Scrum Master facilitates the meeting and ensures that it stays on track and focused on the sprint goal. The sprint review is an important event in the Scrum framework because it allows the Scrum team to receive feedback from stakeholders and make any necessary changes to the product or process. It also helps to ensure that the Scrum team is aligned with the organization's goals and that the product being developed is meeting the needs of the stakeholders. At the end of the sprint review, the Scrum team should have a clear understanding of the progress made during the sprint, any feedback received from stakeholders, and any changes that need to be made for the next sprint. From Sprint Retrospective. Sprint Retrospective is an important event in the Scrum framework that takes place at the end of each sprint. It is a time for the Scrum team to reflect on their performance during the sprint and identify areas for improvement. During the sprint retrospective, the Scrum team comes together to review the sprint and identify what went well and what didn't go well. They also discuss any obstacles or challenges they faced and how they were able to overcome them. The team then identifies any potential improvements they can make to their process or workflow for the next sprint. The sprint retrospective is a collaborative process that involves all members of the Scrum team, including the product owner, the development team, and the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master facilitates the meeting and ensures that it stays focused on the goal of continuous improvement. The sprint retrospective is an important event in the Scrum framework because it helps the team to continuously improve their process and workflow. By identifying areas for improvement and making changes, the team can become more efficient and effective in delivering value to the customer. At the end of the sprint retrospective, the Scrum team should have a clear understanding of the areas for improvement and a plan for making changes in the next sprint. The team should also feel empowered to make these changes and committed to working together to improve their process. These Scrum ceremonies are essential to the Scrum framework as they help to facilitate communication, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Each ceremony is time-boxed and focused and is designed to help the Scrum team stay on track and ensure that the project is moving forward towards the sprint goal. We shall now discuss a few of the other meetings embraced in Scrum. 1. Backlog refinement is an important activity in Scrum that helps ensure that the product backlog is well defined and ready for the upcoming sprint. It is an ongoing process that takes place throughout the project and involves the product owner and the development team working together to refine and prioritize the items in the backlog. One of the main goals of backlog refinement is to ensure that the items in the backlog are properly defined and understood by the development team. This helps the team to estimate the effort required to complete each item and to plan their work more effectively. During backlog refinement, the product owner and the development team review each item in the backlog and make any necessary changes or clarifications. This may involve breaking down larger items into smaller, more manageable ones, adding or refining acceptance criteria, or identifying any dependencies or technical constraints that need to be addressed. Another important goal of backlog refinement is to prioritize the backlog items based on their value, dependencies, and risk. The product owner and the development team work together to identify the most important items and to ensure that they are always working on the highest priority items first. Backlog refinement is an ongoing process that takes place throughout the project. The frequency and duration of backlog refinement sessions can vary depending on the needs of the team and the complexity of the project. However, it is recommended that the team spends at least 5 to 10% of their sprint time on backlog refinement to ensure that the backlog is always up to date and ready for the next sprint planning session. Overall, backlog refinement is a critical aspect of Scrum that helps ensure that the team is always working on the most important items and that the product backlog is a living document that evolves with the needs of the project. By continuously refining and prioritizing the backlog, the team is able to deliver a high-quality product that meets the needs of the customer and the business. 2. The parking lot. In Scrum meetings and ceremonies, the purpose and agenda of each meeting is typically set in advance, with the goal of achieving specific objectives within a set time frame. However, it's not uncommon for participants to raise questions, concerns, or ideas that are not directly related to the purpose or agenda of the meeting. While these topics may be important, addressing them during the current meeting can derail the discussion and prevent the team from achieving their goals. This is where the parking lot comes in. When a topic arises that is not directly related to the purpose or agenda of the meeting, the facilitator can write it down on a separate sheet of paper or whiteboard and place it in the parking lot. This acknowledges the topic but sets it aside temporarily to be addressed at a later time. By using a parking lot, the facilitator can keep the discussion focused on the main agenda items, while also ensuring that important topics are not ignored or forgotten. The facilitator can review the parking lot at the end of the meeting or during the next meeting and determine which topics should be addressed and how they should be prioritized. The parking lot is a simple but effective tool for managing distractions and side discussions in Scrum meetings and ceremonies. It helps to keep meetings focused, productive, and efficient while also ensuring that important topics are acknowledged and addressed in a timely manner. Questions. 1. Could you mention and describe the Scrum ceremonies? 2. Could you describe with illustrations the importance of these ceremonies? 3. Could you describe the other meetings adopted in Scrum and the values they add to the team?